All right, let's just hop right into it. Thank you, guys. Welcome back. I appreciate you joining me. I'm Boston Brian. This is Blunt Politics, the political podcast that tries to fight through, the bullshit of the mainstream media, the lies of, whoever's telling you the lies that they want to tell you. And we do our best to bring it to you in an everyday, a normal citizens type of way where we're not talking down at you, but bringing you the news, learning with you. How's everybody doing? Thank you for joining me. Welcome to the first Tuesday show of Blunt Politics. I really appreciate you guys being here. And oh my goodness, I don't even know how to begin to even explain the developments over the last, even 2 weeks, 24 hours, 48 hours, incompetence, ignorance, just leadership by 8 ball. Seems like people are just shaking 8 balls and whatever we should do, whatever that lands on, that's kind of what we're doing. It makes absolutely no sense. Donald Trump claims a ceasefire, bombs still exploding. The whole thing is just, it's beyond comprehension at this point. Nobody knows really where it's going, what's happening, but we're going to do our best to catch up on the news of the last at least 24 to 48 hours. But before we get into everything, please hit that like button, share out the stream. That would be fantastic. Do the free stuff. That would be great. You guys continue to help this channel in a big way, and I appreciate you guys for doing so. Thank you to everybody that tuned in to the Sunday show where Hal and I spoke about the bombings that the U.S. undertook, as well as where the Democrats probably may or may not be able to spend their time trying to, accrue new voters going forward. So I thank you to everybody that tuned in. That was fantastic to see. The amount of people that tuned in. Hell, let me bring in the chat. Say hi to everybody before I get too far into it. First off, mods, thank you so much. I appreciate you guys. Rox, you're the best. I really do appreciate Tiff. Thank you so much for being here. I know with the time changes and the added shows, it's going to get more complicated for you guys. So if you have things to do, places to be, people to see, don't worry about it. That's why we have a great lineup of fantastic people that hopefully can hop in a pinch. So thank you to everybody that's here. Am I enjoying the California weather? You know what's crazy? It seems like I had to come out to Southern California to stay cool, if that makes any sense, right? Seems like there's a massive heat wave going on back east. People are locked up in air-conditioned rooms. I'm sure the electric bills are going up exponentially as we speak. Somewhere in the feels like 100, 101 back where I'm from, just south of Boston, as far as I've heard from my mom and the people in the area. So hopefully everybody's staying cool. People that are getting out to vote in the New York primary, make sure you get out there with some water and some shade, maybe an umbrella if you need to. That's a very important race too, to be able to take down Cuomo. So yeah, thank you to everybody. Let me bring in, like I said, thank you to the mods. Thank you. I appreciate you very much. Thank you, Bicycle Mike, for starting it off with the $2 contribution. You too can be just like Bicycle Mike and send in a super chat or a super sticker or become a channel member just below me for I believe $2.99 a month. I don't know, that continues to change. So let me know if that's changed since. You can also check out Patreon at patreon.com/Boston Brian. There's a Venmo up in the corner that will interchange with a PayPal if you have either of those. Those are fantastic ways to get a direct contribution straight to the person that you're trying to get it to. And look at Nordez right off the bat again. Thank you so much for the 5 gifted memberships. Also, gifting memberships is a fantastic way to help the channel. Yeah, so the people that also receive the gifted memberships from people that are kind enough to give them, like Nordez here, please be sure to thank them in the chat for their contributions to the channel. But yeah, so much to get into, really. Some post from Donald Trump. Obviously, we're going to have to go over some of the things that he said on his Truth Social shithole. We'll be talking about obviously his little temper tantrum this morning, where he attempted to scold both Israel and Iran for their actions after this so-called complicated 12-hour on, 12-hour off, 24-hour ceasefire bullshit. Don't worry, we'll go over the post. It didn't make sense to me. It seemingly sounded like there was a 12-hour period where Iran had to obey a ceasefire, but Israel did not. It also, in that same Truth Social post, seemed like it said that Donald Trump was allowing both sides to continue and finish out whatever missions they were already undertaking. So I'm kind of confused as to why he's so pissed off about the continued strikes, because he seemingly gave them permission to finish out whatever missions they were undertaking. We'll read the post, but now he's obviously pissed off and decided to drop some F-bombs to sound like a tough guy, because he's really mad that his Nobel Peace Prize is in danger. He's really mad. He's not happy about that. He really, really wants that Nobel Peace Prize. We'll be taking a look at Good Morning America's coverage, just their recap of what happened, I believe, overnight. That way everybody can get up to speed. I have Donald Trump continuing this line of, oh, don't worry, Iran called us ahead of time and told us they were going to strike. In this case, I believe it was the base in Qatar. But if you'll remember when those, I believe it was like 100 or so servicemen and women were injured in the base in Iraq after Iran launched a missile salvo at that base. Then Donald Trump came out and downplayed the severity of the brain injuries, the traumatic brain injuries of those service members. But also in that press conference, he used that same line that Iran came out and called us ahead of time, so that we really shouldn't be too mad about what transpired and what took place. So he uses this line of, oh, don't worry, it's not a big deal, they called us ahead of time, to kind of his way of smoothing over the situation, where it's like, yes, they did shoot on our bases, but they called us ahead of time to let us know, so it's really not a big deal, which of course is utter bullshit. And anytime somebody fires upon a U.S. base and it needs to be shot down, intercepted, or whatever the fuck, it's obviously a big deal, right? And it should be taken with the severity and the and the just cause that it deserves, right? Thank you, Slacks. Let's go. 12 months, 1 year, brother. Appreciate that. Big milestone. I appreciate that, Slacks. Much love, Brian, Mel, Dungaree Dog, Logan. Left all the Bryantologists. Thank you, my friend. I really appreciate the support. You guys honestly have been, again, I say it all the time, you guys have been fantastic, and I'll continue to say it. I don't think you guys get the praise you deserve, because you guys keep channels like mine going, channels like Midas Touch and Brian Tyler Cohen and David Packman, whoever it is you watch. To each their own, but it's people like you that keep these channels going, so I appreciate it. Don't fuck this up, NYC. There you go. Mel's pep talk. That should be like a sideshow. We should do Mel's pep talk. Should be our second podcast. I feel like people would listen to that. But it's the Soulcraft. Thank you so much for being here. WW Yakov, thank you so much. We did upgrade on the internet as much as we possibly could without totally switching companies. So hopefully it looks a little better. Maybe it sounds a little better. Hopefully the background comes in a little bit more or clear than it did last episode. There are still a few things that we can try. I still don't have a long enough Ethernet cable, so not things that you need to know, but things that I'm thinking about, just so you know. Lacey, thank you so much. Ask, thank you so much for being here. Mel, as always, thank you for your services. Thank you for everything you do. Love you. Tell Gav I said hello. VD, I appreciate you for being here. All grades of fuel below $3 per gallon in Texas. How are prices in California? High. I'm sure they're probably down a little bit, going along the lines of that since we've seen this whole thing play out, which, of course, we could see reverse very shortly. But I don't know if I don't know if I don't have a vehicle here yet in California, so it's tough for me to say. Mel could probably tell you better than I could. So, Mel, can you let them know in the chat what the current gas prices are at? Super Saint, thank you so much. Leron, thank you so much. I appreciate you guys. Jerry, really, it means a lot that you guys are showing up here to the weekday shows. Also, let me just bring this in just so I don't forget here. This is obviously the new schedule, just in case anybody is wondering. Tomorrow we got our normal Wednesday night show at 8:30 Eastern, 5:30 Pacific, and then we'll be doing a Thursday show during the day. At the same time, we're doing our show today, so make sure you tune in for that. I appreciate you guys, and hopefully the more content we can get you, the better things will be. You know what I mean? I have no confidence in our government or what they're doing, but as far as this show is concerned, hopefully we can make things the best as possible. So thank you guys. I appreciate it. What do you say we get right into it? There's a lot that I want to cover. Obviously, the big news of the day clearly is Donald Trump's little temper tantrum so far. But if we can get into just a little bit of what he's been saying and where this kind of started, this at least last, like I said, 24, 48 hour period of just utter incompetence, nonsense, lies, bullshittery, you name it. They're trying to play this out in real life. So this is one of the ones that I wanted to show you that started this, that really caught my eye, at least. And I think is a lot of other people's eye as well, was this one right here, this N-word truth that people are calling it now. This is Donald Trump, and it says this was yesterday morning at 8:27 a.m. All right, so we'll start yesterday morning, 8:27 a.m. And this is about former President Medvedev of Russia. So he says, did I hear former President Medvedev from Russia casually throw around the N-word nuclear and saying that he and other countries would supply nuclear warheads to Iran? Did he really say that, or is it just a figment of my imagination? If he did say that, and if confirmed, please let me know immediately. The N-word should not be treated so casually. I guess that's why Putin's the boss. By the way, if anyone, this is the part that I really want you to listen to. I know, like, we could take this whole top part and pick that apart for a while, but this is the part that I really want you to pay attention to. This right here. There's so much that we could dive into just in this. So, by the way, he says, if anyone thinks our quote hardware was great over the weekend, talking about the strikes on the 3 nuclear sites in Iran, far and away the strongest and best equipment we have. Okay, why, as a commander in chief, why, as a military strategist that you so call yourself, would you tell the enemy, would you tell the world what our best capabilities are, right? Even if we have used them, even if they are the best capabilities, even if they are the best weapons we have, you don't tell the opposition. You come out and say, yep, that's the best we got. So if you can defend against that, I guess you know what I mean? It makes absolutely no sense. And then he goes on to say, 20 years advanced over the pack is our nuclear submarines. Obviously, that's what he's talking about. They are the most powerful and lethal weapons ever built, and just launched the 30 Tomahawks. All 30 hit their mark perfectly. So in addition to our great fighter pilots, thank you to the captain and crew. Now, if you look at this and the time and what he's saying, it almost seems as if he was looking and watching reports of the 30 Tomahawks that were launched from the nuclear submarines, and somebody had to tell him about it after the fact, right? And then he decided he had to put it in this Truth Social post in order to make it look like he knew about it the whole time. That's just my guess. That's just my take on this. But it almost seems as if in this post he was told after the fact, and that he felt that he had to come out and congratulate and thank the crew because he was seeing reports of this action on news stations all over the place, right? So not only that, but it makes absolutely no sense. By the way, if anyone thinks the hardware was great over the weekend, far and away the strongest and best equipment we have, 20 years advanced over the pack is our nuclear submarines. That sentence makes no fucking sense. That makes absolutely no fucking sense grammatically. None of the punctuation in this fucking makes sense. So this is like the rantings and ravings of an absolute lunatic. Like that's what I drew from this, right? After I watched it. I mean, after I read this, is just where, I mean, we thought, what, 7 years ago, 8 years ago, that this guy's mind was melting. You know, when you got a guy saying shit like, I don't know, fucking pick your poison on this one. You could say, yeah. I mean,
when you ran out the healthy arms, you ran out of really healthy. They had great arms, but they ran out. It's called sports. It's called baseball in particular. And pitchers, I guess you could say, in really particular.
Not a healthy-minded individual, or somebody that pulls this out of their asshole. Let's see. We can.
Our
do this
army
one.
manned the airports. It ran the ramparts. It took over the airports. It did everything it had to do.
It did. A ton of those airports needed to be taken over during the Civil War, as we all know. What are some other ones? I mean, you could go on for days with this asshole. Let's see here. He's got
Gettysburg. What an unbelievable battle that was. The Battle of Gettysburg. What an unbelievable. I mean, it was so much and so interesting and so vicious and horrible and so beautiful in so many different ways. It represented such a big portion of the success of this country. Gettysburg. Wow. I go to Gettysburg, Pennsylvania to look and to watch.
Right. Now, just think of how long ago these were said, right? How long ago these clips come from and how deteriorated his brain was then. So we can only, we can't even fathom or imagine the degradation that has taken place inside this man's head since saying shit like Saudi Arabia.
You're a nation that just recently heard that Saudi Arabia and Russia will repeat your...
I mean, think of how long ago that was, right? Jesus Christ. But this is just the beginning, right? So this kicked off that one, and then let's see here. And then he goes on to, let's see here. One of these is where he actually announces, this is congratulations, world, it's time for peace. So, okay, get this. Let's see if we can get this right, ladies and gentlemen. So Israel, in the midst of committing ethnic cleansing and genocide to the Palestinian people, preemptively strikes Iran, and then the United States decides to get involved by taking what is seemingly this is another thing too, and I'm sorry to sidetrack here, but this kind of blew my mind as well. Did you guys know that this was like a 10-year operation as far as the strikes against Iran's nuclear sites? Let's see. Let me see if I can. Yeah, here it is right here. Let me see if I can pull this up for you guys. So a former B-2 pilot shares details behind the nuclear facility strikes, right? And I was reading this article, and it says a decade of planning and complex deception tactics made last weekend's historic B-2 bomber strike on Iran possible, according to retired General Robert Spalding, who said he helped develop the original mission plans. We're talking over 10 years ago. The operation, named Operation Midnight Hammer, marked the U.S. military's largest ever deployment of B-2 stealth bombers and the first use of 30,000-pound bunker buster bombs in combat, Pentagon officials have said. The 30-hour precision strike targeted 3 Iranian nuclear facilities, making it the longest B-2 mission since 2001, according to officials. I believe some of these B-2s had to refuel sometimes 7 or 8 times. At I believe a half hour a pop at refueling. Everything worked perfectly. Spalding, a former B-2 pilot and senior director at the National Security Council, told ABC News. Spalding, who said he helped develop the mission plan years ago, told ABC News the operation required more than a decade of planning, including extensive work on weapon systems and planning. So apparently, The bombs used were specifically designed for the bomb bays of a B-2 bomber. The mission success relied heavily on keeping Iran in the dark about the incoming attack. U.S. military used decoy bombers to sent to Guam to throw off potential tracking. He also said that hiding such an operation has become challenging in today's world, yada, yada, yada. Let's see here. With smartphones, yada, yada. The B-2's unique flying design makes it ideal for the mission. Its lack of conventional fuselage and tails allow for large radar. It has 2 bomb bays here. Right here, this is where I was reading. The B-2 has 2 bomb bays that can carry very large weapons, and these bunker buster bombs were specifically made to fit them. Right? So just think of the cost, right? Let's just, for a second, think of the cost of something that the United States military and other agencies, related to defense, have been undertaking for 10 plus years, with the design of 30,000-pound bunker buster bombs specifically designed to fit B-2 bomb bays, right? I mean, just think of the cost must be astronomical. So this almost seems like there were a lot of people behind the scenes that probably thought there had been so much money spent on this plan and the efforts for this strike, that now was the best time and opportunity to get their money's worth. Right? So they saw the air defenses down from Iran. They saw Israel had been pounding Iran for the last 10, 11, 12 days before that. They saw that this was their opportunity right now to get the biggest bang for their buck as far as the last 10 years of military planning and design for this one strike on 3, what have largely been reported to be, as analysts have said, possibly emptied sites, right? I mean, just think, if it's a 10-year plan, the chances that this had not leaked to the Iranians in some shape, way, form, fashion is, I don't know, for me, a little bit hard to believe, which is why we are, in my opinion, seeing the reporting from a lot of people saying that they most likely and very well and very possibly moved their most important and sensitive materials out of these sites well before these strikes, knowing that they were targets, right? I just found this to be thank you, Carl. Thank you, buddy. Appreciate you, my man. 15 months. Let's fucking go. Infant using big boy toys. And I'm not like, I just think that Donald Trump is the dumb pawn, the incompetent stooge, the elder fucking dementia patient that was ripe for the picking for these military officials, for the people higher up in the Pentagon, right? To persuade him into carrying out this strike, right? So that this wasn't a complete and total waste. So they, the last 10 years of planning and design didn't go, without without the explosions that they so wanted to see. I mean, there are very much people behind the scenes that love war, that love the fact that they make money off of war, that love the fact that they get to design toys, just like Kyle said, that are made to be deployed in war, and want to see that happen when they spend so much time, energy in their time of their lives designing said weapons, right? There's no way to deny that is a reality in today's society. Especially inside defense contracting, and especially in the war machine as it's known, right? But it's on one hand shocking, and on the other hand, absolutely not shocking to hear that this is just the wrapping up of a 10-year plan, which must have cost millions, billions. You'd have to think, right? So. Sorry, I didn't mean to get sidetracked, but I did want to show you guys that was just something that really caught my attention. Let's see here. All right, so this is what I wanted to show you here. This is the announcement by Donald Trump, the president of the United States, on his fucking social media shit site about what was supposed to be a ceasefire agreement, right? So I've gone to the days where representatives from a government, or representatives of the regime, or representatives of whoever may be in charge meet and actually sign and agree on terms of a ceasefire, where it's properly laid out that each side would drop their arms at specifically this time, so there's no confusion upon who's doing what when, who can shoot what when. I guess that's no longer a thing. I guess now, just because the word ceasefire is put on social media, I guess that's enough for the media and the pundits today to run with, to say that like a ceasefire has actually been called for and agreed upon. Because this is Donald Trump's post. This is what he says. Congratulations to everybody, in caps, in case you're just listening. It has been fully agreed by and between Israel and Iran that there will be a complete, with a capital T, with a capital C, and total, with a capital T, ceasefire, completely capitals, and in quotes, not in quotes, in parentheses, in approximately 6 hours from now, when Israel and Iran have wound down and completed their in progress, right? So this is what I was talking about. This is what I was talking about, where I don't believe that Donald Trump has a fucking leg to stand on as far as being mad at either side for continuing their missions that they had going, right? Because he clearly states right here, in approximately 6 hours from now, when Israel and Iran have wound down and completed their in progress final missions. So basically that is him saying, yes, I give you tacit permission to finish whatever missions you are now undertaking. Or obviously it's a broad and general statement, so it could be whatever missions you are currently planning, right? For 12 hours, at which point the war, with a capital W, will be considered ended, all caps. Officially, Iran will start the ceasefire, in all caps, and upon the 12th hour, Israel will start the ceasefire, and upon the 24th hour, an official end to the 12-day war, which he's dying to get this thing named as, right? And I'm sure the media will be fucking more than happy to oblige. Let's see here. But again, tell me, what do you guys make of this, right? Let me know in the chat what you guys make of this. Am I reading this wrong? So let me just read this to you and I'll highlight it again. So for 12 hours, at which point the war will be considered ended. Officially, Iran will start the ceasefire, and upon the 12th hour, Israel will start the ceasefire. So am I led to believe that even if this fucking were to be factual, even this were to be something that was agreed upon, which it's not, am I to believe that Iran has to obey and comply with the ceasefire for the first 12 hours, while Israel does not have to comply with the ceasefire for the first 12 hours? Thus 12 hours after that, it kicks in for Israel. I mean, does anybody? I'm serious. If I'm reading this wrong, if I'm not understanding that, please let me know. Please correct me if you don't feel in any way like you can't correct me. I don't. That's how I take that, right? So Iran will start the ceasefire, and upon the 12th hour, Israel will start the ceasefire. So for the first fucking 12 hours, the only person in this ceasefire is Iran. That's it. That's the only person involved in this ceasefire for the first 12 hours of this fucking thing is Iran. Israel is not obliged to comply with this ceasefire until the 12th hour. And then not until the 24th hour is this whole thing actually considered to be a ceasefire. Like, what the fuck are we talking about? What are we talking about? Right? I mean, George, it's hard to deny and it's hard to say otherwise when we're striking nuclear facilities in a country of 90 million people, and that country of 90 million people is retaliating either with or by proxy against United States military sites and bases in the region, in Iraq, in Qatar, right? I mean, whether or not they're being hit or struck, there is a need for these bases to be defended, right? Which obviously is a fucking problem. Our strike in Iran was a provocation, right? And now we are having to play defense on our bases and to protect our men and women of the fucking military services from strikes against the country that we launched a preemptive strike on. This is exactly what we said in the last show was going to happen, right? This is exactly what we talked about. You in the chat said so. Jen talked about how Eric was very concerned about the way things were going. We had people in the chat that had sons, daughters, nieces, nephews, aunts, uncles in the military that were very concerned, depending on where they're posted, on where the future of this is going. Because right now, we have the ability to continue. We had the ability to shoot down and intercept what missiles were launched, right? Who knows in the future if we have that possibility? Who knows in the future what attack is carried out, whether it be outside of the United States or inside of the United States? What doors did we open up by using this 10-year plan that the U.S. military has had fucking floating around to carry out, like the chat says, they're big boy toys, and to make a big boy war because they fucking were mad that we had to get out of Afghanistan and they had just been fucking itching to get somewhere and pull the trigger. So he goes on to say, above and beyond that fucking just utter stupidity of the actual terms of this bullshit. But he says the other side will remain peaceful and respectful on the assumption that everything works as it should, which it will, which it fucking didn't. Which it fucking didn't by any stretch of the imagination. I would like to congratulate both countries, Israel and Iran, countries capitalized, on having the stamina capitalized, courage capitalized, and the intelligence capitalized to end what should be called the, quote, 12-day war. You know, I mean, that's just a fucking side note that utterly meaningless in the terms of lives lost and where this thing could go. But the fact that he's so fucking narcissistic that he has to be the person to also name this fucking conflict, like he hasn't done enough in this bullshit, like he hasn't done enough to start and fucking rile up tensions, that he has to go and be the one to name this fucking shit too. This is a war that could have gone on for years and very well fucking might, and destroy the entire Middle East, but it didn't and never will. God bless Israel. God bless Iran. God bless the Middle East. Blah, blah, blah. God bless America. Fucking God bless the world. Thank you for your fucking time and consideration to this memo. Please CC anybody you feel like being CC'd. Donald Trump, president. Right. So that another one, that was the announcement of the ceasefire. At least, what did this going too fast? I'm going too fast. Well, I don't even know what that means when this website says that. I'm going too fast. What is that? Can anybody tell me that? True Social loves telling me that. I'm going too fast. All right. So it has fully, and I believe just after this is when Iran came out and said no such agreement has ever fucking come across our table. So I don't know what the fucking guy's talking about. He's a lunatic. And then again, just a bunch of these nonsensical posts. People tugging on his Johnson that he likes to repost. There's one on here that I want to get to, so I apologize for making you sit through these photos here. Oh, here it is. Here's another one. This is a beauty. Israel and Iran came to me almost simultaneously. What the fuck do you think of the chances that actually happened? What do you think that the chances of the that both simultaneously Iran and Israel came to them and said peace? I knew the time was now. The world and the Middle East are the real winners, in all caps. Both nations will see tremendous love, peace, and prosperity. And yes, folks, that is what we're seeing. Let me just let me see here. Yeah, that's what we're seeing. That's what we're seeing. So this is Iran launched missile attack on U.S. base at El Udeid in Qatar. No injuries reported. I believe this was just a blast shake Tehran after furious Trump tells Israel to stop strikes to preserve truce deal. Right. So yeah, you guys get the sense that love, peace, and prosperity is in the future. Right. That's what you guys see in this situation. Okay. They have so much to gain and yet so much to lose if they stray from the road of righteousness, all caps, and truth, all caps. The future for Israel and Iran is unlimited and filled with great promise. God bless you both. Just utter fucking nonsense. Just living in absolute fucking la land out of space. I mean, there's really no other way to put it at this point. There's a reason why nobody knows what the fuck he's going to do, is because he doesn't know what the fuck he's going to do. He doesn't know where he's at most points in these situations. Nor does he understand what the next like Hal and I discussed, the next 24 to 48 hours after he, gives the go-ahead for a strike like this or any military action whatsoever, that's usually something that the commanders and the higher-ups will take into account is, okay, what do we expect will be the retaliation? What do we expect the atmosphere will be in the next 24 to 48 hours, and maybe even beyond, obviously, from the moment we carry out this strike or this military action or this regime change, right? This is not being thought about by Donald Trump. This is not being thought about by his cabinet. This is not being thought about by his family or anybody that's surrounding this man. And that makes this situation even more scary, even more unpredictable, right? This is where he goes on to talk about the talent and courage of the B-2 pilots. There's one in here where he reposts Charlie Kirk saying that he should have the Nobel Peace Prize. Yeah, he's heading to NATO. Don't worry, hang around, hit the like button, share, subscribe to the channel, become a channel member. Would be fucking fantastic if you did so. Pardon my French, but it just gets me really excited and stoked when you guys, support the channel in such fantastic ways. So thank you so much. And again, thank you to the mods. I appreciate you guys. Let's see what this is. This is just a ridiculous congratulations. Oh, here's one we got to read. This is a good one. Right? You guys ready for this? Stupid AOC. So he's already in high school childish mode, right? One of the dumbest people in Congress is now calling for my impeachment, as well she should, despite the fact that the crooked and corrupt Democrats have already done that twice before. The reason for her rantings is all of the victories, capital V, that the USA and under the Trump administration. The Democrats aren't used to winning. She can't stand the concept of our country being successful again. When we examine her test scores, we will find out that she is not qualified for office, but nevertheless far more qualified than Crockett, who is a seriously low IQ individual, or Ilhan Omar, who does nothing but complain about our country, yet the failed, with a capital F, country with a capital C, that she comes from doesn't have a government, is drenched in crime and poverty, and is rated one of the worst in the world. All right, so you don't have to go on with this bullshit, but you get the point. I mean, the guy is just... whether it's him typing these things or it's one of his fucking cohorts, I don't know. But these are definitely rantings and ravings of a madman and a lunatic and people that surround that madman and lunatic. Now that we have made peace abroad, how delusional can you be? How delusional can you be when one of the largest strikes that Vladimir Putin carried out was not that long ago, right? When every night, on top of what's going on in Gaza, on top of what Israel started in Iran, on top of what Donald Trump got the United States involved in Iran, on top of all of that, on top of the ICE raids, on top of fake ICE officials and fake ICE agents trying to go to schools and shopping malls and fucking teen centers all over the country to rip what they think are brown and black people out of their fucking spots because they look brown or have a Spanish sounding last name. On top of all that, on top of the illegalities and the policies put forth in our immigration services and our immigration system, on top of all of that, we still have Vladimir Putin night after night killing Ukrainian citizens, killing Ukrainian military service members, striking Ukrainian cities. So fucking forgive me and stick it right up your fucking tailpipe, this we have peace abroad bullshit. Because so far you have been the fucking opposite of the president of peace, the opposite of the president of fucking power. You have been weak, ineffective, and fucking useless. You have been incompetent at every turn, and people all around the world, whether it be Benjamin Netanyahu or fucking Vladimir Putin, are taking full advantage of that. And it's costing lives all over the place. So fuck you and damn you to fucking hell for even uttering the words peace abroad while you're fucking president. While we have the shit still going on that's going on across the fucking pond. Boy, that fucking pisses me off. And it fucking pisses me off even more when you get shit like this, and I'll find it here. It can't be far away. He posts a bunch of what Tom Cotton said, Charlie Kirk, which is ironic because I do have clips of Charlie Kirk about a month ago and about from 2 months ago telling everybody how stupid it would fucking be to go to war with Iran. And that includes attacks in the interior of Iran. But all of a sudden he changed his fucking tune, as all maggots do. Right there, unserious, fucking unprincipled hacks. Whether it be Charlie Kirk, whether it be Ben Shapiro, whether it be fucking, pretty big douchebag over there at the PBD podcast and all his fucking cohorts. All of these motherfuckers, Marjorie Taylor Greene, they're fucking soulless, useless, fucking spineless hacks that have no principles and no actual beliefs, and that if fucking Donald Trump tells them it's right, they're going to believe it's right, regardless of what they've said in the past. So if you're fucking as dumb as Cenk Uygur is and actually fucking rest your fucking bank account and your laurels on what something like Marjorie Taylor Greene says or what fucking Charlie Kirk says when they've already flipped script, like Steve Bannon has already flipped script when he was all fucking anti-war with Iran, but all of a sudden now he's like, well, maybe if it's just one strike, if he contains it to this, I trust him. Yeah, fuck you and anybody that thinks that these people are serious characters and players worth our time and attention trying to flip their fucking thoughts to get to our side. Stick it straight up your fucking here, I got something for you. I got something for all you motherfuckers that think we need to spend our time and attention talking to Charlie Kirk and Marjorie Taylor Greene and listen to what they say. I got something for your ass.
Oh, go fuck yourself.
All right. Next, let's see if we can find this stupid fucking comment and tweet. If not, I'll go to the oh yeah, here we go. This is another fucking stupid shit. Why Trump's preemptive strike on Iran's nuclear facilities was legal and likely saved lives. Using what you Republicans, I'm sure, are gonna love this. I'm sure Republicans really love this. The freedom loving, the people that hate the spying they think the government's been doing since 9/11. They're really gonna love this. Authorization for use of military force from 2001 grants explicit power to targets nation linked to 9/11 terrorist attacks. So Donald Trump is going to use a 2001 grant giving him explicit power to target nations linked to 9/11 terrorism attacks as the justification and legality for his strikes, according to Greg Jarrett here. Let's see. I apologize. Oh, here we go. I wanted to just, I had to, right? Sorry it took so long to get there. But this is the position that we're in right now, right? So for anybody that's like, oh, yeah, we need to spend our time and maybe we can reach across the aisle like fucking Gavin Newsom and like Cenk Uygur and all these other fucking assholes. Just this is what we're dealing with. In less than a month's time, 2 months' time at the most, Charlie Kirk has gone from you'd have to be a fucking moron and an asshole and insane to even possibly fathom going to war with Iran and striking the interior of Iran, never mind their nuclear fucking facilities. We've gone from that to President Trump should get a Nobel Peace Prize. So can you see the disconnect here? Can you see the disingenuous nature of these fucking hackbags? Right? If I was ever this fucking hypocritical without at some point raising my right hand and saying, hey, listen, I'm sure you're going to see at some point I said this. Now I'm saying this. Let me clarify my fucking statements. Oh, thank you, Deanna. Thank you, Deanna, for the Venmo. Thank you for the 5 on Venmo. I appreciate that very much. And the Venmo's up in the corner here just as easily. Just take a picture of it, send a buck or two. That would be really, really helpful to the channel. There's also here, I could do this as well. There's also a PayPal. If PayPal is something that you have, I can throw the PayPal up there as well. Thank you, Deanna. I really, really appreciate that. It's very nice of you. But yes, I just wanted to make it clear that this is... Thank you so much, Tiff. Look at you go. Look, you guys are fucking fantastic. On top of the ball. Thank you, Tiff. What's up, Dame? What's up, bro? How you been, buddy? Hal Point says propaganda. As far as what Charlie Kirk, I mean, it's just pure propaganda. It's just pure state. I mean, just think of how again, these people's platforms were built, a lot of them, on anti-government, small government. Government should leave us alone. States' rights, freedom for the people, fucking don't tread on me, right? And now are just doing utter and complete state-run propaganda for Donald Trump and his regime. That's all it is. Whether it's Steve Bannon, whether it's Charlie Kirk, whether it's any of these fucking people that even once at some point had something negative or, contrasting to say as far as what Donald Trump was doing or going to do or thinking of doing, it does not matter. It does not fucking matter, because if Donald Trump gives them the phone call, or somebody in his administration gives them the phone call and says, hey, you better toe this fucking line, they'll find some way to spin it. They'll find some way to come out with the exact opposite point of take and point of view, and somehow try to justify that to their fans, who will eat it up. They just fucking eat it up, because whatever the dear Lord and Savior tells them is fucking fact. That's just the point. That's why we keep saying it's a cult. That's why we keep saying they're indoctrinated. That's why we continue to tell people this is not something that they're just going to pop out of overnight one day, right? This is something that needs to be fucking hammered home every single day, the hypocrisy of these people, so that it can be so that it wears thin on the people that do actually get to see it. Because we need to combat the fact that Charlie Kirk and, again, all these other assholes just dominate the views and dominate the airspace as far as political commentary goes. Right? So, I guess this is a good segue. Let me see if I can pull up. I think I emailed it to myself. Charlie Kirk's old rantings. This is at least one of them, I believe. Let me see if I can share this tab instead for you guys. Yeah, so this was Charlie Kirk. Let me see here. Let me see if I can get a date on 1 month ago. Okay, this is a month ago. And literally the title, Why War with Iran Would Be Catastrophic for America. Okay, 1 fucking month ago, we've gone from that to this. Right? We've gone from this to that to this. I mean, how I don't understand how, like, people don't see, like, the utter fucking bullshit and the utter fucking uselessness of the commentary of people that change their stance like they fucking change their underwear, right? How do you go from 1 month ago, war with Iran would be catastrophic for America, and now, because he has undertaken war with Iran and struck their nuclear facilities, Donald Trump should get a fucking Nobel Peace Prize, says Charlie Kirk. Now, how do you combat that? As a political commentator, how do you combat that? How do you fight against somebody that has the ability to change his stance, to change his beliefs, whether it's fucking documented or not, whether there's video of it or not, with zero repercussions, without zero loss of audience, without any fucking pushback? How do I fight against that? It's fucking insane. It really is. So let's listen to a little bit of Charlie Kirk here from 1 month ago, talk about why he thinks it would be catastrophic for the United States to go to war with Iran. And I looked for another. Oh, somebody, hold on. Sorry, guys. I want to make sure that I get everybody thanked. I believe there was another Venmo. Thomas. Thank you, Thomas, for the 25. Congrats on your first Tuesday show from Tom and Victoria. Thank you so much, you guys. You guys have been fantastic. Thank you so much. Sorry, that was hiding underneath Deanna's. I appreciate that so much. But yes, this is Charlie Kirk from 1 month ago. And as I was saying, excuse me, there's another clip to be shown. I couldn't find it anywhere myself, but I do know that the Majority Report showed it this morning on their show. So if need be, I'll just go back to the Majority Report and see if I can find the segment in which they show it. But I think it very much highlights the hypocrisy and the fucking, like I said, useless nature of the rhetoric from these people and how they should not be listening to. How it's just a fucking waste of your time, energy, and attention to listen to a word that they say, because they'll flip-flop and they'll do exactly as the dear leader, the Fuhrer, wants them to do. As long as the head of the Gestapo or the SS or fucking, Heinrich Himmler or fucking Joseph Goebbels, as long as one of those types, if Stephen Miller gives you the phone call, you're going to toe the fucking line. We also have Stephen Miller who looks like an asshole as well. And we're going to, and not too long from now, make sure you hit the like button, share the show out. Not too long from now, we'll get to Donald Trump's temper tantrum from this morning. But I'm kind of holding that back. I wanted to catch everybody up on what's been going on, and a little bit of the hypocrisy from these other people before we get to that bombshell, as everybody's talking about, right? All right, so let's get into this. And I'm not going to play this whole thing. I think it's like 3 minutes in where I can start it. Let's see. I might have to fight through some commercials, which I do. Yeah. Another commercial because it's Rumble. My apologies. Here we go. All right, so we're 3 minutes and 49 seconds in. This is when Charlie, I believe, starts to get into why he believes it would be catastrophic for America to go to war with Iran. Let's just get into a little bit of this. Play. It would be fantastic if you played. Any day now. That would be great. Oh, my apologies. Hold on. Time out. Sorry. It might be helpful on a podcast, especially visually, if I show it to you, what you guys are listening to. That would be very helpful. My apologies. So let's restart that. I think it was at 49. So here we go.
Do you support military strikes against Iran if they are developing a nuclear bomb? It's a very important question because, look, war with Iran, of course, is what Tom Cotton and Lindsey Graham want. They've wanted that forever. But what is instead being proposed is, well, what if we just do limited airstrikes? You got to also just take the step back. Wait a second.
Which, if everybody will remember, I know not that long ago, which is exactly what the United States carried out. What they'll call limited airstrikes, right, on 3 sites. So exactly what Charlie Kirk is trying to, sarcastically demean as a strategy, as an attack plan, is exactly what happened and what he's calling for Donald Trump to get the Nobel Peace Prize for.
Trusting our intel agencies so quickly. We've only been in charge for 101 or 102 days. We're all of a sudden going to trust the Biden holdover intel agencies that are telling us Iran is close to a nuclear weapon after they have lied to us at every single corner and every turn. The battle is over Iran, and there are people in Washington inside the Pentagon and inside the administration who want to launch military strikes on Iran. Often they say it'd be easy, just one strike, in and out. Now, pause. How often have they actually been correct about the one in and out thing?
What do you think? You guys, do you see how there's an issue with that in and out thing now? With that, like, one strike probably not being the end of it? Can we see how that, he was actually kind of right in his assessment? And it must fucking kill Charlie Kirk, too. It must absolutely kill Charlie Kirk for, in one hand, to be like, you know what? I was kind of right about what the fuck I was saying. But now, because I want to keep my position and my money and my power and my, the close ties I have to this administration, I'm going to have to toe the line and, again, go against what I knew to be the correct assessment. So it must be a mind squeeze, I'll say, for Charlie Kirk in this situation, too.
Has that ever actually been the case? Oh, yeah, we're just going to do some strikes in Libya. Oh, really? Libya has been a catastrophe. Libya has been a disaster ever since we removed Gaddafi. By the way, Gaddafi is a really interesting example as to why Iran wants nuclear weapons. Remember, Gaddafi voluntarily denuclearized. Remember that?
Again, it was said by our own intelligence agencies that they haven't had a program since 2003, I believe it was, and that they had no intentions or even, excuse me, the direct capabilities yet to do anything like what these people are claiming.
Gaddafi voluntarily denuclearized, and then he got sodomized in the streets of Libya, and we still have troops in Libya.
Again, making the case for not striking like this, for not undertaking a regime change, because you could do all that, right? And then we could be worse off in the end. We could destabilize other countries in the region, which then leads to more death, chaos, war, famine, right? That's what we don't want. So sometimes it's better to, continue the acts of diplomacy that Iran was engaging in by coming to the table and talking with the United States about what's going on, right? That's what was going on when Donald Trump pulled out of these talks, when pulled out of the proposed agreements between the two countries and decided preemptively to strike their nuclear facilities.
And here's the honest truth. America cannot and absolutely does not and cannot afford a war with Iran. Military strikes against Iran would be war against Iran.
I'm sorry. Can we just one more time, Charlie? Because I think it's very poignant what you're saying here.
And here's the honest truth. America cannot and absolutely does not and cannot afford a war with Iran. Military strikes against Iran would be war against Iran.
Okay. So we cannot, under any circumstances, afford a war with Iran. And a strike against Iran would be considered a war with Iran. Okay? Now, what happened, ladies and gentlemen? Exactly what he just described, right? And what was his response to that? Trump should get the Nobel Peace Prize. So a month ago, we're talking about, he says that it would be the dumbest, most catastrophic move, and that even a strike inside of the interior of Iran would be considered war with Iran. Now is calling for the president that undertook those ridiculous, stupid, nonsensical actions to get the Nobel Peace Prize, even though there's no fucking peace been achieved. Just, can I add that on top? Just want to add that on top in case that's been lost in the fucking sauce too.
Period. And I want someone to make the argument why that is a good idea. I've heard all the arguments, and Mike Waltz represented a coalition of people in Washington, D.C. that were largely sympathetic to that. Oh,
all right. So I think we get the picture on him, right? I think that's kind of self-explanatory as to the hypocrisy, as to the nature in which they will flip their beliefs, their what they call principles, right? They have absolutely no moral high ground to be political commentators and to have people listen to them and give them their time, and attention, right? And money. To have them do that, it just makes absolutely no sense to me. It doesn't. How people could watch this and be a loyal fan or an avid fan and not see this and not be like, well, just a month ago, you were telling me that it would be ridiculous and that it would be catastrophic to go to war. And now all of a sudden you're calling for doesn't that cause like some sort of second guessing, some sort of like hesitation to the people that have been watching and consume his bullshit and other people's bullshit too, that are doing the exact same thing? Because the backflips that MAGA right now is having to undertake and go through, just since Donald Trump has become president this second time is out of control. Right? I don't know. Does that look good? I don't think that looks, for some reason that looks funny. Is it this one maybe? No, that looks even funnier. Maybe it is this one. But you guys know my name. I don't think that matters. But yeah, I mean, it just, the whole thing is beyond, like I said at the beginning, comprehension and like understanding. Even like the most knowledgeable analysts and experts in this region and on situations like this, they don't know what the fuck is going to come next. They like, we don't know what Donald Trump's going to do. We don't know what any of these other fucking people are going to do. We don't know, because when you're dealing with madmen and people that are absolutely insane to the point where it's blatant in broad daylight, there's no way to anticipate their next move. It's just, it can't be done. So, all right, let's see. You know what? I actually kind of want to try to find that, because it's going to go on along the same lines and I don't want to get off track. So why don't I do this? I already showed that. I'm going to go to the majority report and I'm going to try to see if I can find that. I think it was just a short clip that they showed on their channel this morning. So let me see. I just type it in. Talk amongst yourselves. I'm going to go to live. This must have been today. Streamed 1 hour ago, 1 day ago. Was it this one? Supreme Court's right-wing grieved Trump bombs Iran. What was it yesterday? Shit. No, I don't know. Or was it this one? I thought it was today. Let me see if I can go through this real quick without getting a copyright strike. Maybe it's not this one. could have sworn. All right, so it wasn't this one. So we go back skis. Maybe it was this one. Stick with me. Stick with me. It'll be worth it. And no, I don't remember what oh yeah, it was this one. It was definitely this one. Skip forward here, see if I can find it in the old. Did I miss it? Oh, don't tell me it was in the fun half. All I did was show a little clip of Charlie Kirk. Could have been in the fun half, though. Which I don't think we get to see. My apologies. Let me see. It might have been this one. This will be my last check. If it wasn't this one, we'll move on. I do apologize. I just find it rather poignant. Because he's also said this in multiple other shows. No, it must not have been this one either. Could have sworn it was today's live show. But anyways, I'll find the clip and we'll see if we can play it on the show. Let's see if we can get to this clip instead. This is basically just Good Morning America this morning, kind of giving a recap. If you haven't seen I don't know if they get to it. They might get to Donald Trump's little temper tantrum here. So if you've been waiting to see it, here it is. This is Trump announces ceasefire between Iran and Israel. Just a fucking ignorant, stupid title to this. Just blah, because there's no background on that. But here we go.
Iran-Israel ceasefire. After 12 days of deadly attacks, President Trump announced a ceasefire overnight, but Israel quickly accusing Iran of violating the agreement, vowing to respond with force. Iran denying this.
The president just left the White House for a long-scheduled NATO summit in the Netherlands. We want to get right to our chief White House correspondent, Mary Bruce. She's there at The Hague, where the president will be attending the summit. And Mary, we know the president spoke just moments ago. What did he say?
Well, Robin, I can tell you that President Trump is not happy this morning. This has been a head-spinning pace of developments overnight, and the president this morning is furious that the ceasefire he celebrated and announced just hours ago is now in question, telling our Rachel Scott as he left the White House just moments ago that these two countries don't know what the bleep they're doing.
All right, well, if they're going to show it, I might as well show you the better angle of it. So, yeah, I'll get you this. Here's this. Make this bigger for you guys. Here we go.
You know what? We basically.
This is Donald Trump this morning after hearing about his Nobel Peace Prize being in doubt when absolutely nobody involved in this situation, albeit Iran or Israel, listened to a word that this fucking man said or cares about a word that this guy says. Because, again, both countries, I believe, after Donald Trump had called for a ceasefire, engaged in one another. In some way. So Donald Trump came out, and this is his little outburst this morning, if you have not seen it yet. So here we go.
We have two countries that have been fighting so long and so hard that they don't know what the fuck they're doing. Do you understand that?
I mean, now, does that convey somebody that's like in control, or does that convey more like fucking Under Siege, what's the guy, Tommy Lee Jones on Under Siege type of vibes, right? You know what I'm saying? Like, that does not convey to me like a commander that is in control of his emotions, his feelings, the aware of the situation, comprehending the situation, ability to adjust to the situation. That just seems like an angry old man that said something and people didn't listen to it. So now he's really fucking angry because he really wanted that Nobel Peace Prize.
Israel, as soon as we made the deal, they came out and they dropped a load of bombs, the likes of which I'd never seen before.
They must have been what? So they were, I think they were what? Big, massive dumps? They must have been big, massive dumps.
Big, massive dumps.
The biggest load that we've seen. I'm not.
The biggest load. By far the biggest load Donald Trump's ever seen.
Happy with Israel. You know, when I say, okay, now you have 12 hours, you don't go out in the first hour.
All right. So serious moment. So this is what I'm talking about. So how is this? This is Donald Trump somehow being upset that these two countries carried out the missions that they were engaged in, right? Can I go back on this 5 seconds?
Just drop everything you have on them. So I'm not happy with them.
So let me see if I can go
when
back.
I say, okay, now you have 12 hours, you don't go out in the first hour and just drop everything you have on them. So I'm
Okay, you don't go out in the first hour and just drop everything you have on them. Let's see if we can go back to this. Let's see if I can go back real quick to his statement and what he said. Somebody must have posted it. Let me see here. Like Huckabee posted it somewhere. Give me a second. Give me a second just so we can compare and contrast. The juxtaposition is important, I believe. Here we go. Let me show you this. Congratulations to everyone. So, in approximately 6 hours from now, when Israel and Iran have wound down and completed their in-progress final missions, right? That is written on Donald Trump's Truth Social on his own account, supposedly by his own fucking measly, scrawny little fucking fingertips, telling these two countries that they have permission, or at least per the ceasefire, they are allowed to complete their in-progress final missions. Sorry, I don't know. There it is. Right, so let's go back. Let's just go back, right? Let's go back to where we were here. Where the fuck it go? I think it's this one. Here we go. Let's go back and just hear this one more time.
12 hours. You don't go out in the first hour and just drop everything you have on them. So I'm not happy with them.
Literally what you told them to do. They carry out their final missions, their in progress final missions where you're expressed specific terms that you put on your True Social fucking shithole. So because you're an incompetent moron, you don't get to then come out and get to play the fucking, I'm the mad guy, one of the two old guys in the fucking balcony of the theater, and I'm going to be a big tough guy and drop the F-bomb to make sure that people know I mean business. Now, after I say that, I have to go take a shit, so I'm out.
I'm not happy with Iran either, but I'm really unhappy if Israel's going out this morning because the one rocket that didn't land, that was shot, perhaps by mistake, that didn't land.
That's another thing. And what fucking military facilities has this motherfucker taken a tour of? Where it is like just an accidental thing where you just launch fucking missiles at a specific coordinates at a specific location. Like, does he think this is just like you just lean on the button? Like somebody put their elbow on the fucking Diet Coke button he's got? Oops, sorry. Nope, that launched. Cancel that one. Like, this motherfucker actually believes that rockets are shot off by accident? Perhaps by accident. The fuck does that mean? I mean, if that doesn't show you what an incompetent bastard and how unintelligent and like unqualified for this fucking position right now he is, let's just one more time hear him talk about how mad he is that he himself gave these two countries the tacit permission to carry out their in-progress final missions. Here we go.
I'm not happy about that.
Here we go. One more time.
Israel. You know, when I say, okay, now you have 12 hours, you don't go out in the first hour and just drop everything you have on them. So I'm not happy with them. I'm not happy with Iran either. But I'm really unhappy if Israel's going out this morning because the one rocket that didn't land, that was shot, perhaps by mistake, that didn't land. I'm not happy about that. I didn't like the fact that Israel unloaded right after we made the deal. They didn't have to unload. And I didn't like the fact that the retaliation was very strong. But in all fairness, Israel unloaded a lot. And now I hear Israel just went out because they felt it was violated by one rocket that didn't land anywhere. That's not what we want, I'll tell you. And I'm telling you, I'm not happy about that, Israel, either.
I mean, again, the incompetence, the mealy mouth back and forth. I'm going to announce this on fucking social media, and somehow the two sides, these two governments, have to agree upon it based upon what I said on social media. And then if you take what I actually said on social media and actually do what I said you could do on social media, I'm going to come out and then be very fucking upset, but I'm going to call that we've had peace, even though there's no peace. I'm pissed about the strikes that both sides have carried out since I called for peace, but there is peace. Congratulations on peace, but I'm really mad at the attacks that were carried out overnight in lieu of the peace. Like, it's almost, again, like I said, it's normal people would get into this situation and they would just be immediately tuned out. It makes zero fucking sense, and it is almost unimaginable to comprehend why this was done, where we're going from here, what the ramifications really fucking mean as far as long term, what regime change, if undertaken in Iran, means and looks like for the countries surrounding it. I mean, there's so many fucking unknowns in this situation, and to have this guy at the helm calling the shot supposedly is one scary, scary fucking thought. One fucking scary, scary thought, right? Which leads us to this. Let me see if I can bring up this one. Yeah, here we go. This is, let me get rid of this one. Get rid of this one. This is bald-headed Joseph Goebbels on Fox News commending Donald Trump on the peace that he has achieved, right? So let's see if we can get into this just a little bit, right? Let's see if we can get into this just a little bit and see the congratulatory nature that Stephen Miller comes on Fox News with. And then we'll go back to Donald Trump this morning, which was maybe 12 hours after the Stephen Miller clip. And then we'll see how well that whole peace thing has played out. Here we go. Any day now, Stevie. You can play. I promise. You can play. Come on, buddy. Any day now. You can do it. I promise. It's not that difficult. Get your bald head and that fucking red lipstick to work. Any day. What is happening? I'm going to get rid of this. See if that works. No, it didn't. Why? I don't understand. Let me try a refresh. Let me try the old refresh. See if that works. Come on, Steele. Here we go.
When the magic of Disney meets the...
Sorry about the ads. Nothing I can do. All right, let's go. Come on. Yeah, look out, K. Look out, K, for the fucking bombs falling. That's what K should be looking out for. All right, let's go. Today, Junior. Let's go. Any day. Here we go. Appreciate it.
Now, earlier today, before the ceasefire announcement, the Department of Homeland Security issued a national terrorism advisory.
No, I'm not listening to this whole thing.
Warning of, quote, heightened threat environment. And that's for Stephen Miller. Stephen Miller, let's start with the peace agreement. Trust but verify, peace through strength, both in play. Donald Trump's doctrine, consistent with his first term, when he dropped the mother of all bombs on Afghanistan, took out solo.
You guys got that, right? Peace. Peace. As I'm going on to explain the people I've killed with the bombs that I've dropped, but the peace president, just after we've launched attacks on Iran and their nuclear facilities, the peace president. I just want you to make sure you guys get that. And now he's going on in the same breath to describe the bombs dropped in his first administration and the people killed in his first administration. But the peace president, just get that through your skulls.
Soleimani and Baghdadi and associates, and of course beat the ISIS caliphate. Now he is once again giving the Iranians a chance for peace. Will they really take it?
Well, let's just take a moment to think about how historic this moment is and what President Trump has achieved in this 12-day.
Let's see. Yes, let's see what he has achieved, guys.
Presidents going back to Bill Clinton have said it is the policy of the U.S. government not to allow Iran to have a nuclear weapon. But under every president except
which, again, the United States intelligence services say they haven't had a weapons program since 2003 and have no clear evidence to suggest that they are planning to acquire said nuclear weapons now.
Trump, Iran marched closer and closer to being able to put onto a ballistic missile a nuclear warhead that could take out an entire
And again,
city.
since Bill Clinton, I believe Sam Cedar was explaining this morning. If you do the calculations on that, that's 30, 40 years ago, Bill Clinton was president. So it takes I think per the experts, I think he was explaining somewhere between 5 and maybe 8 years for a country, of Iran's caliber and stature, and the capabilities and knowledge that they have to acquire a nuclear weapon if they so choose. So it's been almost 40 years now that we have been saying that they've been trying this. And apparently, according to Stephen Miller, nothing has been done. But somehow in those 40 years, Iran still doesn't have that nuclear weapon. So go try to, again, fit that through your skull, compute that, have it come out the other side and make sense. And I would love to have a chat with you.
That has been the direction Iran has been going in year after year. President Trump took action flawlessly through the United States military to obliterate Iran's nuclear sites.
Obliterate the sites. Again, notice how he doesn't talk about the time frame in which we think we set them back, which again could be anywhere from 3 months again to 3 years or something like that per the analysts and experts and what they're saying. There's a big range. Nobody actually knows really, because again, what we're going through and what Donald Trump has been reporting has been nothing but satellite imagery. Right. He's been reporting and talking about the success of this mission based off nothing but satellite imagery. And that is not how you get the information. That is not how you get a complete and total picture of the successfulness and how you assess the effectiveness of these strikes. We talked about this last show. You need boots on the ground. You need eyes on, which puts people in danger. What's up, Letterhack? What's up, brother? What's up, Maddie? Where are you? I saw you in here somewhere. There you are, big guy. What's happening? Dude wants to wear a beige uniform and an armband so badly. Yeah, right. I mean, you're 100% right. Whether it be a black shirt, brown shirt, he doesn't care whether it's under Mussolini or Hitler. He doesn't care if it's the SS, the Gestapo. I mean, this man is the most bigoted, most racist, most fucking homophobic, Islamophobic piece of shit you will ever see in your entire life. I mean, this man is nothing but pure evil. Pure and utter evil. And don't let the white makeup and the Joker lipstick fool you, right? Because this man is behind not only a lot of the rhetoric and the speeches that Donald Trump has come out with over his fucking tenure as a politician, but also the policies and the illegal and unconstitutional policies. Title 42 was one of Stephen Miller's babies. He was dying to get that fucking put in place. So you're 100% right, Matt, and I appreciate you joining me, buddy. What do you say? Are you doing Mondays again? Are you still doing Mondays? Maybe I could pop on Monday if that works for you. I heard Sam Cedar actually talking about you and your show and your, what you're trying to start this morning. So looking forward to you joining Sam, as far as I heard. So congratulations on that. That's fantastic, buddy. Congratulations on that. And if you'd like to drop a link for the channel, the show, the stream, whatever it is that you're looking to start, my apologies, I don't know the name offhand right now. I think it's something 21, if I'm not mistaken, but correct me on that. But yeah, feel free to drop a link in the chat that people can check that out on, buddy. That would be fantastic. But let's continue with this arsehole. Where is he? Here he is.
And to stop them through the use of military force from having a nuclear weapon. It was a bold, courageous action, and it happened.
Where has it been reported that we stopped definitively Iran from having a nuclear weapon? Has anybody seen that reported? Can we confirm that from satellite imagery alone, that we have completely annihilated their ability to do this if they are doing this? There are so many ifs, buts, ands, maybes, could be's, possiblies.
Without a single leak, without a single solitary service.
I don't know. You know what? That whole without a leak thing, not so sure, Stevie. Not so sure, because if it does come to fruition that Iran had moved their equipment, the majority of their facilities and their the material that they had out of these sites, seemingly, unless they just said, these are targets and we better do this preemptively, seemingly they might have had some idea coming from somewhere that this was a possibility. See, like as I reported earlier, that this being a 10-year fucking plan inside the United States military and intelligence agencies. 10-year plan. So this isn't something that Donald Trump concocted. This isn't something that fucking fucking Dan Cain came and concocted himself. This wasn't Stephen Miller's thinking. Again, this is a plan that has been put in place and worked on and designed upon and spent billions and billions and billions of dollars on. Just for this moment, just for this incompetent, soulless, hackless, fucking lifeless piece of shit, both Donald Trump and Stephen Miller, to come along, to be dumb enough, to be gullible enough, to be ignorant enough, to be fucking, sociopathic enough to allow the military to conduct this operation. That's how I see it.
Member losing their life. Everyone said, who was a critic of this action, that it would lead to World War III, and instead we have a ceasefire, and instead we have the beginnings
we have a ceasefire, guys,
of stability and peace and security in the Middle East.
Guys, we have a ceasefire. Did you hear that? Now, don't let this fool you by any stretch of the imagination. This was this morning. So if we go from Stephen Miller to Donald Trump this morning, I believe just several hours later. Let's see how that ceasefire is going.
You know what? We basically have two countries that have been fighting so long and so hard that they don't know what the fuck they're doing. Do you
you know what?
Understand that?
That sounds like the peace plan. That sounds like the ceasefire. That sounds like everything's going according to plan. Now, can we go back to Stephen Miller just one more time on that, Steve-O? Can you hit me with that again? One more time. Stability and peace in the Middle East. Okay, let's see here. I think I have something on that. Yeah. New strikes. There you go. This is 18 minutes ago. Conflict. Trump rebukes ceasefire violations. Yeah. New U.S. strikes 3 nuclear sites. We already saw that. Where is it? Where it says where they defend against their the bases in Qatar, because that just shows to show in the strikes in Tehran, and what's happening in Tel Aviv and Haifa. Just peace all over the place. Peace all over the place. I'm going to get off on a tangent if I do that. So I'll continue this one.
President Trump, once again, has demonstrated that he alone has the wisdom, the judgment, the strength, and the courage to see this nation through the most dangerous challenges we face around the world, Sean.
Yep.
It is amazing.
Yep. And if just one more time, just to send this message home, this is how well it's going, folks. This was this morning.
You know what?
This was the furious Führer, the demented dear leader, this morning, talking about how well people are complying with his terms and how well his whole peace plan is going. Here we go.
We basically have two countries that have been fighting so long and so hard that they don't know what the fuck they're doing. Do you understand that?
There we go. So you guys get the picture on that one. Going real well. It's going real well, as you can tell. Now, let me see here. This was, I already did that one. Okay, this is good. This is another one I wanted to show you here. So Donald Trump has a history of not only demeaning and denigrating and downplaying and ostracizing and I don't know, and any other word you could possibly think of that puts the U.S. military service members in a negative light, both past and present. We remember his remarks about POWs. We remember his remarks about suckers and losers and not wanting to go to the cemetery to pay respect to the World War I veterans, I believe, if I'm getting that correctly now. We've talked about his demeaning of Senator John McCain, who was shot down over Vietnam and spent time in the Hanoi Hilton, was tortured, could no longer function his arm correctly, if I'm getting that right. Not only that, but Donald Trump was mocking the fact that he couldn't have use of his arm in full function because of his torture, because of his plane crash, because of his shooting down, because of his heroism and sacrifices and dedication to this country. All this by a man that was given the fucking the ability to dodge drafts because of some fucking, what was it, foot bone spurs? Is that what it was? Because of some fucking bullshit bone spurs, and he has the gall the balls to come out here and talk about people that actually flew in combat missions, actually fucking flew over enemy territory, were shot down and spent time in POW camps, right? We remember this right here, where Donald Trump, is heard downplaying the traumatic brain injuries of service members that were involved in a strike on a base in Iraq by Iran. But I want you to listen carefully in this, because not only does his facial expressions, everything about what he's saying, just completely spit on the fucking heroism and the dedication that the U.S. service members of our military show day in and day out. But also his stupid line that he now pulled out again, talking about how Iran called ahead of time to let us know when and where these bombs were going to be dropped. So I guess we had the ability to defend against them, so they did nothing. I don't know. If you can make sense of it, again, let me know. But this is Donald Trump in 2020. This was, let's see if I can get this date right. This was, it was posted 8 months ago, but this was from 2020, if I'm getting that correctly. If I'm wrong, please let me know in the chat. Talking about answering a question about these about the traumatic brain injuries that these service members faced and had because of this attack, and then listen to what he goes on to say after, and then we can have that go one-to-one to what he's saying and doing now, right? So let's listen up.
Do you think Israel should retaliate to these missile attacks from Iran? But also, do you believe that you should have been tougher on Iran after they had launched ballistic missiles in 2020 on U.S. forces in Iraq, leaving more than 100 U.S. soldiers injured?
So, first of all, injured. What does injured mean? Injured means you mean...
Right. So right off the bat, leaving over 100 service members injured, the woman says. His first thought is to downplay the meaning and the definition of the word injured, right? He's trying to downplay the severity of their injuries that they sustained because of his incompetence, right? So let's listen to that.
U.S. soldiers injured.
So, first of all, injured. What is
injured? First of all, injured. I mean, just his fucking dismissive, condescending tone. All right, the dismissive nature of the question that is being asked on behalf of these U.S. military service members who were injured and did sustain head injuries in this fucking attack.
What does injured mean? Injured means you mean because they had a headache because the bombs never hit the fort?
Because they had a headache. Okay, all right. Let's see here. Just so we can get the total facts. What should I type in? 100 U.S. injured Iraq. You should bring it up. Here we go. Share this tab instead. 109 U.S. troops suffered brain injuries in Iran strike, Pentagon says. The Defense Department says 45 more U.S. service members have been diagnosed with traumatic brain injuries. Traumatic brain injuries after Iran's attack on the Ain al-Assad air base in Iraq last month, raising the total number of troops injured in the ballistic missile strike to 109. Of those who were injured, 76 have returned to duty. A Pentagon statement about the injuries did not include details about the service members, such as their rank, age, or military unit. Monday's update is at least the fifth time the U.S. has revised the number of personal injuries in the Iranian attack. President Trump initially reported no U.S. troops were injured. No Americans were harmed in last night's attack by the Iranian regime. Trump said shortly after the strike, he added, "We suffered no casualties." Clearly, he doesn't know the definition of a casualty. But the Pentagon said later that 11 people had suffered traumatic brain injuries, and on January 4th, the number jumped to 34. Nearly a week later, the Pentagon said 50 personnel were injured, only to revise that figure days later to 64, now having that all the way up to 109. Right? 27 were transported from Iraq to U.S. Medical facilities in Germany. 21 were transported from Germany to the U.S. for treatment. 7 are currently en route from Iraq to Germany. 5 are still being evaluated. The Iranian attack targeted at least 2 Iraqi military bases housing U.S. personnel, including the Ain al-Assad base. Iran's actions were in retaliation for the U.S. drone strike that killed one of its most prominent military commanders, Qasem Soleimani. So this was, again, in retaliation for something that Donald Trump prompted. Right. something that Donald Trump is responsible for giving the okay to do. Now, this was in response, and then in response to that, Donald Trump downplays the injury sustained. So let's hear this one more time.
Soldiers injured.
So, first of all, injured. What does injured mean? Injured means you mean because they had a headache, because the bombs never hit the fort. So just so you understand, there was nobody ever tougher in Iraq. They had no money.
On Iraq? Pretty sure that the old man meant to say Iran, right? Because it makes absolutely no sense to say he was tough on Iraq in this situation. We have U.S. military bases in Iraq. What the fuck are you trying to be tough on Iraq for? So what he meant to say was Iran. He'll go on to talk about Hamas and, the rest of the Iranian proxies. But again, no idea what he's talking about. And this was 5 years ago, people. I believe this is 2020. Did anybody get me in the chat? This is 2020, correct? Just to be 100% factual on this one. Because this was posted at a later date. So it's hard for me to get the exact date. But I believe it's sometime in 2020.
Money with me. They would have made any deal with me. I would have had a deal made within, literally, I would have had a deal made within.
No. Let me know in the chat. Now I'm confusing myself.
1 week after the election, they were dying to make a deal. And when you say not tough, they had no money. They had no money for Hamas. They had no money for Hezbollah. And when we hit them, they hit us. And they called us. And they said, we're going to shoot at your fort.
They called us and said that we are going to shoot at your fort. And in response to that, as Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces of the United States of America, Donald Trump said, okay. Apparently, he okayed that in hopes that we would just shoot them down, or in hopes that all of these would strike short of the base. I mean, let's think about that for a second, guys. Let's think about that. Let's say that one more time. Let's say that one more time and think about that for a second.
They hit us, and they called us, and they said, we're going to shoot at your fort, but we're not going to hit it.
And in response to that, we can only assume, right, because the strikes were actually carried out, because they actually took place, because they actually struck the base that they were talking about, because servicemen and women were actually injured in this attack, we can only assume that Iran supposedly calling Donald Trump and saying, we're going to shoot at your fucking bases. We are going to strike this specific base, supposedly, and we can only be led to believe that Donald Trump said, okay, as Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces of the United States of America. There's nothing else to be drawn from that other than he said yes.
And if you were a truthful reporter, which you're not, you would tell the following: none of those very accurate missiles hit our fort. They all hit outside, and there was nobody hurt other than the sound. It was loud, and some people said that hurt, and I accept that.
The sound was loud. That's the fucking olive branch that he's willing to extend to the 109 people, many of which experienced traumatic brain injury, had to be shipped from Iraq to Germany, some from Germany to the U.S. for further treatment. 7 that are still being evaluated, and he's willing to only give them that the sound was loud. Mr. fucking Bone Spurs here. Mr. Dodge in the draft. Mr. John McCain is a fucking weakling. I don't respect him. I only respect people that weren't captured. Suckers and losers. Why do these people give their lives? I'm not going there because it's fucking raining. Fuck these troops. This guy, the guy that wouldn't receive the bodies of servicemen and women that have come back from overseas, that died in duty, in fucking either in combat or in training or otherwise. The man that sent other people to receive these fucking bodies. This motherfucker has something to say about the sound and how the sound is loud, and that's about how far he's willing to go. Give me a fucking break, dude. Give me a fucking break. And if this doesn't go to show how incompetent he was at dealing with Iran the first fucking time, it should very well drive home the fact that there's no chance he's going to be more competent or effective being much older, much weaker, less wise, less competent, having fucking the brain melting from his orange fucking ears. There's no way that he's going to handle this situation that we now find ourselves in a better way than he did before. It's not going to happen. Let me just see if there's anything that I missed. Oh, here's something if you guys missed this one too. Remember how I was talking about Donald Trump being led by the nose by Benjamin Netanyahu into this war? And of course, we only have Donald Trump to blame for his own actions. But again, if somebody coerces somebody of a lesser mind to commit a crime, right? If you, fucking take under your wing somebody that may not be mentally capable to process the situation, and you groom them into, I don't know, being a fucking bank robber, and you send them into a bank with a gun, and they commit the robbery, yes, it was their actions. Yes, they did it, but it was absolutely at the behest and the request and the teachings of this other person. And in this fucking light, this other person is Benjamin fucking Netanyahu, okay? Because this article that came out, I believe this morning, yesterday at 5:57 p.m., Netanyahu decided on Iran war last year, then sought to recruit Trump. Okay? So is it okay if we dive into just a little bit of this article here? Just a little bit. We don't have to go crazy, but just to further drive home my point in the fact that Donald Trump just happened to be the right gullible piece of shit in the wrong place at the wrong time for all of these fucking dictators and genocidal madmen and militaristic people in the Pentagon to take advantage of his shortcomings and his fucking brain bleed and his disintegrating capabilities as far as mentally. This was the correct fit at the correct time for all of this to come together, for Donald Trump to be the pawn in the game of Benjamin Netanyahu, in the game of the fucking people at the Pentagon dying for a fucking big boom by big weapons. So in the fall, long before President Trump embarked on an effort to resolve concerns over Iran's nuclear program through negotiations, Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu had already set Israel on the road to war, according to current and former Israeli officials. After Israel decimated Iran's air defenses in a missile skirmish and crippled its main ally, Hezbollah, in October, Netanyahu issued a general order to prepare for a strike, the current and former officials said. Israeli intelligence officials began huddling to compile lists of dozens of Iranian nuclear scientists and military leaders who could be targeted for assassination. Israel's Air Force began to systematically take out air defenses in Lebanon, Syria, and Iraq to clear the skies for future bombing runs in Iran. Excuse me. Was this a read more? Where's the rest of it? Where's the rest of it go? Am I missing it? Get concise answers to your questions. No, I just want to see the whole article. Is that do I have to fucking sign in? Is that the whole thing? They're gonna make me sign in here? I don't know. Maybe I got an account. I'm not sure. I forget now. We'll see here. Give me a sec. Because again, what did we say last show? What was I telling you? Finish creating your account. Fuck. Am I in? Yes. Yes. All right. Let me see if I can. Are you guys seeing this on StreamYard? Yes. Let me see if this now allows me to read the whole article. All right. Here we go. All right. We're back, people. We're back. Where did we leave off? Excuse me. We read this one. Scares of immunity. Meanwhile, Israeli officials were pushing for another track in their preparation. Here we go. Meanwhile, Israeli officials were pursuing another track in their preparations to sway Washington. Israeli officials have long believed that military action with the U.S. participation to target the Iranian nuclear program would be more effective than Israel going alone. No fucking shit. On Saturday, Trump indeed joined the conflict, ordering U.S. forces, including B-2 strategic bombers, to strike 3 nuclear sites. We know that. Throughout the fall, Israelis had met with their Biden administration counterparts to discuss intelligence collected by both countries in the summer that showed Iranian nuclear scientists were gathering to resume theoretical research on weaponization, according to 3 people with knowledge of the matter. According to 3 people. But U.S. intelligence analysts did not conclude that Iran leadership had made such a decision. Let me just highlight that again. Hold on. Let me just highlight that again. But U.S. intelligence analysts did not conclude that the Iranian leadership had made such a decision. In assessment, U.S. spy agencies revisited and maintained throughout the spring under the new Trump administration up until the time Israel launched strikes, said 5 people familiar with the conclusions. So this right here, the fact that the U.S. intelligence assessed that they didn't come to that conclusion, was the assessment by spy agencies revisited and maintained throughout the spring under the new Trump administration. So nothing had changed in that regard. In private conversations, however, senior Israeli government officials said that they had already decided by March, weeks before Netanyahu even met with Trump in the Oval Office on April 7th, to strike Iran with or without U.S. participation by June at the latest, said 2 people with knowledge of the matter. The reasoning with that, Iran would have rebuilt its air defenses by the latter half of the year, one of the people said. As we talked about on this show, they had to use this opportunity for the air defenses to be down. That's why I compared what Donald Trump did to somebody walking into a bar fight that had already been taking place, where a guy's already on the ground, having been kicked the shit out of by 7 people, only to have Donald Trump walk in and kick him in the stomach and step on his fucking face and say that he was the one that actually beat this guy up, right? So that's the comparison that I made. Ultimately, when Netanyahu finally launched a surprise attack on Iran in the early hours of June 13th, while Trump's negotiations were still underway, the decision was not so much driven by new intelligence indicating an Iranian sprint for a nuclear weapon or any imminent threat to Israel. Okay, let me just again highlight that and repeat that. When Netanyahu finally launched his surprise attack on Iran in the early hours of June 13, while Trump's negotiations were still underway, the decision was not so much driven by new intelligence indicating an Iranian sprint for a nuclear weapon or any imminent threat to Israel. So as big a problem I have with Iran, the Iranian regime, in their assistance to Russia in the fight in the war against Ukraine, there is nothing, again, that I have seen to suggest, and I've only seen other suggestions in opposite analysis, that Iran was in any way striving to get a nuclear weapon, and again, to in any way use that against Israel or the United States or any of our allies. Now, if we want to continue to sanction them and punish them for their actions and their assistance, again, to Russia and other proxies around the world, that is fucking fine. I have no problem with diplomatic solutions and diplomatic actions against the Iranian regime. But to conduct offensive strikes on sites that were perhaps not even in fucking use or activity at the time, only to have these 2 countries then launch upon each other, only to have Iran launch upon United States air bases in Qatar, in Iraq. This is not peace. This is not prosperity. This is not love in the Middle East. This is the opposite. This is uncertainty. This is war. Right? This is missile launches and dead people and buildings coming down. That's what this is. Rather, Israel seized on what it saw as a unique opportunity to execute plans carefully laid out months and years in advance to heavily damage and weaken Iran that had long waged a bloody proxy conflict with Israel and set back Iranian nuclear and missile programs, Israeli and U.S. officials and advisors, both governments say. Whether or not Netanyahu had enough evidence of Iranian progress towards a nuclear weapon to justify an attack has been the subject of intense debate globally and raises questions about the strike's permissibility under international law. In recent days, the issue appeared to generate friction inside the United States administration, with Trump repeatedly dismissing the assessment delivered in March by Director of National Intelligence Tulsi Gabbard that Iranian's leadership has not ordered the development of a nuclear weapon, and telling reporters that he personally believed that Iran was very close to a bomb. So his own Director of National Intelligence that we heard, Tulsi Gabbard, come out and say that, quote, Iran's leadership has not ordered the development of a nuclear weapon, is in direct contradiction to what Donald Trump, Benjamin Netanyahu, and the rest of these assholes want us to believe. Netanyahu has argued for decades that Iran was on the verge of acquiring nuclear weapons and should be halted by military strikes, as acknowledged in recent interviews that Iran was still months or years away from a weapon. What was undisputed, he has said, was that Iran has enriched large amounts of uranium to a level well beyond what is required for civilian use and built up a dangerous arsenal of ballistic missiles. Israel's calculus for attacking Iran was driven by a sense of both opportunity and necessity, said an Israeli official who, like many others quoted in this article, spoke on the condition of anonymity to discuss internal deliberations. Quote, it is true. There were no better time. Israelis have never been more well-practiced, and Iran and their proxies have never been weaker, said the Israeli official. But that's not enough for us to operate. The reason we operated is necessity and understanding there is no alternative. What if they break out towards a nuclear weapon and there is no way for us to notice? There is no safety zone, which again, if you'll remember, ladies and gentlemen, if you're old enough to remember out there in the audience, and I appreciate you guys. Thank you so much for tuning in here on our first Tuesday show as we come near to the end here. Please make sure if you haven't yet, jump out, hit the like button on the show, subscribe to the channel. Thank you for being here for the Blunt Politics Podcast. I am Boston Brian again. If this is your first time listening or joining or watching, thank you so much. And if you've been here from the beginning or any time in between, thank you so much as well. I really do appreciate you guys so much. Thank you, Thomas, Nicholas, George, Frank, Evie's aunt, all you guys. Ovi, appreciate you. Grumpy Cat, OG Adam, thank you so much, buddy, for your services down there. Tiff, again, thank you so much. Paul, I appreciate you guys. I really, really do. Shit, where was I just going with that? That's my apologies. I was just going somewhere with that. Let me see if I can get back to where I was. Oh, yeah, excuse me. There was no better time. The Israelis have never been more practiced, but that's not enough for us to operate. What if they break out? Oh, excuse me. That's what I was going to say. Does that not sound, anybody that's old enough in the chat, does that not sound exactly like what we were told before we went into Iraq? Weren't we told, and wasn't the argument that, what if we don't? What if bombs just rain down all over America? What if they do have these? We definitely have to go in, because if we don't, I mean, who knows what could happen? We could have no safety zone, right? Isn't that the exact same thing that we were told for the WMDs in Iraq, right? Isn't that similar to what we were told when we went into Afghanistan? What if we don't? What if we don't invade these countries? What if they do have? What if we don't know? We don't know yet. We have no evidence to suggest that they do. But what if? We must attack and invade and kill and try to overthrow governments because because we don't trust them, because they are a lower form of human being on this earth. They are not to be trusted. Their Islamic way, the Arabic way, the Muslim way, should not be trusted, cannot be trusted because of the acts of a few. That's what they believe. So that what if is just big enough if to allow them to justify strikes on nuclear facilities or invasions of country or overthrowing of regimes or governments. Thank you, fucking Nordez. You are amazing. Appreciate you so much. I really do. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. 5 times, maybe 6 times, 7 times. I appreciate you. Sorry, just excuse me, just looking at the chat, seeing what you guys are up to. But yeah, again, like I was saying with Hal the other day, this just pushes any bad actor, any fucking Tom, Dick, and Harry that has access to some sort of chemical, biological, whatever, technical weapon or weaponry or military. This just pushes them to go underground even further to make sure they get this fucking get these capabilities 100% before they go to the table with the United States or any one of the United States' allies. Because if you don't have these capabilities, if you aren't like Kim Jong-un in North Korea with fucking a set of nukes behind you so that nobody can actually fuck with you, then they will fuck with you. And this is exactly the rhetoric that we were shown and told before Iraq. This was the justification on why we had to invade, right? And it ended up being an all fucking horseshit, nonsense, for nothing, death, casualties, destruction, disassembling of villages and families, the disintegration of neighboring countries that we've talked about. This is all something that we may be looking forward to. That may be in our future. We don't know what the future holds. We don't know, what the next move will be in this situation. We hope for peace, but in reality, we see this type of shit. But in reality, we see these type of people leading us, right? In reality, we see these type of people leading us. One more time.
You know what? We basically have two countries that have been fighting so long and so hard that they don't know what the fuck they're doing. Do you understand that?
That is the person leading us. That is the person that seemingly has the most power or wants to believe he has the most power in this situation, but is actually getting led around by his fucking tiny mushroom cock by people like Benjamin Netanyahu and other military officials that, again, probably swayed him to make this fucking strike, because everybody likes to take advantage of Donald Trump's very large brain, he says, that we all know is, again, leaking out of his ears at a rapid
China
rate.
has total respect for Donald Trump and for Donald Trump's very, very large brain. There's a fly. Oh, I wonder where the fly came from.
It sounds like a guy with a big brain, right? Sounds like a guy. This definitely sounds like a guy that should be in charge of our military in probably one of the most consequential moments, definitely in my lifetime, but definitely in recent.
We are a nation that just recently heard that Saudi Arabia and Russia will repeat.
That guy's in charge, right? And then, just to be even more on point, just to be even more, with what's going on today, this is how he speaks about uranium.
What uranium is, right? It's a thing called nuclear weapons and other things. Like lots of things are done with uranium, including some bad things.
Now, does that sound like somebody who has a concise, concise plan, a concise understanding of what's even being done by Iran, what's even happening with uranium, what enrichment actually means, what the levels of enrichment actually means, and how maybe Iran is using the levels of enrichment as a bargaining tactic, as a way of saying, hey, this is my chip in this game, considering we don't have nuclear weapons? The man is being absolutely led by the fucking nose straight into war, and he's too dumb, too incompetent, or too ignorant to see that. Because when you have a guy that planned this whole fucking thing out over a year ago, leading what Donald Trump should and shouldn't be doing, telling him what he should and shouldn't be doing, going against what Donald Trump says he shouldn't be doing. And then we find out that this whole fucking thing, the whole strike on Iran and their nuclear facilities, was a 10-year-long plan. It gives you the idea that this man isn't in charge. It gives you the representation that this man is being used as a fucking pawn. That he has no power. He has no capability of getting us out of this situation, but only getting us deeper and further involved in this fucking war. So again, even more reason for you to continue to get the fuck out of your seats, get out of your sheets, and get into the streets. Go get a $3 fucking cardboard sign, get a marker, write something funny, write something concise, write something meaningful, and get out in the goddamn streets with your brothers and your sisters, who are also in this fight together. Because the hands off, because the no kings is only going to grow. Look for your nearest rally. Look for your nearest fucking march. Whatever they want to call it, get your ass the fuck out there. We have July 4th coming up, which should be a celebration of independence and freedom. But at this moment, our independence and freedom are under attack. They are in danger. So this July 4th, what we should be doing as Americans is using our God-given fucking American right to get the fuck out and protest and to use our voices and to get loud and to stay proud and to protest every move that this government is making. Whether it be ICE, whether it be foreign policy, whether it be with Russia and Ukraine, whether it be their fight against transgender people, whether it be their fight against the LGBTQIA, whether it be their fight against marginalized communities, whether it be their fight against women's healthcare rights, reproductive rights. Protest it all. That's what we are protesting. All of it. Every single fucking move that this administration makes. Because yes, we are on borrowed time. And there's nobody coming to defend your democracy. There's nobody coming to defend your freedom. It is on you. It is on the person to your left and the person to your right and your neighbors and your brothers and your aunts and your uncles to get the fuck together, to start raising more awareness, to start raising the volume, to start getting some attention, garnering some fucking attention, even more attention that has been garnered already, and to keep that momentum going. Because unfortunately, sometimes some shit needs to break. Sometimes some shit just needs to fucking burn and some glass needs to be smashed. I hate to fucking say it, and I'll say it again. I don't want to be in this situation. I tried my ass off to avoid this situation, but this is the fucking situation that we are in. A little bit of good trouble goes a long fucking way, my friend. A little bit of good trouble goes a long fucking way. So get out there, have some good trouble. Let's get into thanking some of you fabulous individuals who have contributed financially to the program today. I make it a point, if you're just tuning in, thank you to all the new subscribers too. There was a lot that tuned in after the discussion with Hal, and Hal coming on, so I always appreciate him. I got to get back on his show because the Sparkles are just great people, so I appreciate you very much. But yeah, everybody that contributed financially, you guys are fantastic. I appreciate you guys in every way, shape, and form I possibly can. And if you're new to the show, at the end of every show, I like to go through all of the super chats and the super thanks and the super stickers and the membership milestones, and just give everybody their recognition for their kindness, for their generosity. So if I miss it, go by in the chat during the show. Don't worry about it. Stick around, and I promise at the end of every show, I go through them. I read the messages. I thank you for your contributions, and I make sure that you get your dues. I guess I don't know. I lost it on that one, but make sure I show my appreciation towards you. So here we go. First on the list today was Jerry. I appreciate you so much, Jerry, for your $2 contributions to Blunt Politics. She says, "Good day, Boston, California, Brian." Thank you, Jerry. I appreciate you very much. I hope you have a wonderful day. Sheldon coming in here as usual, gifting a membership. Sheldon, thank you so much for your continued viewership. Thank you so much for your continued generosity towards this show and continuing to keep the memberships growing. You are a fantastic part of this community, so thank you so much. Bicycle Mike, thank you. Are you enjoying the California weather? Like I said, it was strange that it's probably a cool, or what I think is a cool 75 degrees out. Let me see if I can pull up the weather real quick. I think it's got to be in the 70s. It always is. It's currently 73 degrees right now. Today's high will be 73. Sunny, little bit of partly cloudy coming in here where I am. But if I were to go back home, it is currently 92 degrees. There's an extreme heat warning. These conditions are expected to last until 8 p.m. Tuesday. The air quality is piss poor. Let's see what the feels like is. What's the feels like? How do you get the feels like on this? Feels like 94. Feels hotter than an actual temperature. And then we got, what's the humidity at? because we always love to get the humidity. Let's see. Humidity is currently at, the dew point is at 65, 41% humidity. Not too bad. Not too bad. It's usually in the friggin' 80s and 90s. But yeah, it's got to feel hot back home. And it's strange to come to Southern California to get away from the heat. But Bicycle Mike, thank you so much for your contributions. Nordez again with another 5. Thank you so much. Again, literally just single-handedly keeping this channel running as far as memberships, you and JD, I'm pretty sure. Thank you so much. I really do. And Sheldon, thank you guys. Slacks. Fucking slacks. What up, buddy? Appreciate you. Congratulations on 1 year. I shall pass on all the love you send. Thank you so much, dude. Graham, thank you. 15 months. Let's go, Graham. Fucking the silent killer in the chat. Let's go. Just creeping for 15 months. Just being a fantastic individual. Helping this channel out for a long time. Been here. Pretty much that's got to be almost a day one, right? Can't be much longer than that, Graham. So thank you so much. I appreciate that. Looks like Simone sending in $2. Nope, that's not dollars. That is euro. So €2.49. Is it pence? Fuck. I never know. I know it's euro. But thank you. Love from the Netherlands. I appreciate that, Simone. Thank you so much. Appreciate that. No. Oh, sorry. I watch somebody on YouTube who's from the Netherlands but lives in Ireland, so he has a mix of an Irish and Dutch accent, and it's like how he says no and new is just really, it's really something. So thank you so much. I appreciate the worldwide support. That is very cool to see. Simone, thank you so much. I hope you have a wonderful rest of your Tuesday, and thank you so much for being here. Hey there, Boston, Brian, and Mel. Jerry again. Thank you so much, Jerry. You're fantastic. Rumors around regarding nukes, China and Russia. Rumors abound regarding nukes, China and Russia, says WW. Was that something that I was looking at, or is that just an in general statement? Because again, oh, you know what that must have been? I got you. That was when I was reading Trump's True Social about Medvedev. I got you, buddy. I got you. Thank you so much for your contributions. Taco sucks. Thank you, Joy. Appreciate you. Hope you have a good Tuesday. Thank you so much. Carl, yeah, I think you're absolutely right. Again, remember, for 15 months, got to be a day one, my friend. Got to be a day one. Thank you so much, Carl. Infant using big boy toys, absolutely. And again, he wasn't the only infant involved in this, right? Again, a 10-year plan, billions involved, many people involved. I'm sure there were a lot of people in his ear saying this is the correct time while the Iranian air defenses are down, while we know possibly that these sites have nothing in them, right? Just makes it an even more there's no, it lessens the repercussions, right? It just makes it like a show of force at that point, right? Like their air defenses are down and we know these sites are probably emptied. So now is the time to use this 10-year plan that we have to show what we believe is our strength, right? So that's what I believe is kind of how, along the lines of how it went down. But thank you, Carl. Again, Nordez, Jesus Christ, you are fantastic. Thank you so much. Really, the memberships that you guys are gifting and signing up with yourselves, I hope I can really get through to you guys how much that goes to support the channel. And again, the PayPal, the Venmo, again, is the most direct way to help the channel. If you go through YouTube, they do take a portion, they do take a cut, and it does take a while for it to come through to the creator. So, but again, I'm not complaining. I'm just letting you know that's how it works. I really do appreciate it, JD. Thank you so much, as usual, for the profanity bonus. Thank you, as I always need one if you're new to the channel. Profanity is second nature. So I apologize if I hurt your sensitive ears. But thank you, Dame Dog. To wrap it out, you are fantastic. I appreciate you, buddy. How long till those flannel shirts are sleeveless? Yeah, right. I don't know. I'd have to get my ass back into the gym, and probably for a good 6 months to a year with a good regiment to be in any position to be showing off arms or legs or anything like that. Right now, dog, I'm focused on getting my fucking sock tan taken care of. That's where my head's at, is I want the tan line from my boots and socks from when I did plumbing, where I just have like a fucking block of brown skin underneath where my shorts lie, but above where my boots are on both legs. So it just looks like I have stripes on it. That's where my head's at right now. I need the shirt tan to go away. I need to get some color. I need to get some goddamn color. That's what I want. But I'm going to let you guys go. I really appreciate you. Please do not forget our new shows that we have added to the lineup. Again, we did our best to look through the lineups of other shows and to try to not step on toes. But inevitably, it's going to happen, and I do apologize for anybody that is being forced to kind of split shows. It is not on purpose. It was literally thought about, and something that was calculated. We tried to put it in the spots where the least amount of people were, with also being able to get some viewership on the show. So I apologize for any toes that I'm stepping on. Luckily it's YouTube, so whether you watch my show or the other show that you're trying to watch, it's always going to be up on YouTube. Don't feel like you have to split time. I appreciate your time, and I appreciate what you guys like to watch. So, again, I just want to make that very, very clear. So this is the schedule here. So Sunday, regular show, right? 1 p.m. Eastern, 10 a.m. Pacific. Tuesday, show we're doing right now, show you're watching right now, 11 a.m. Pacific, 2 p.m. Eastern. Wednesday night, usual show. That's going to be like I might turn that into, thank you, Jenny Faye, working, cleaning my house and sweating my ass off. So I'm just listening and not in the chat, but I'm glad for your voice and rants to keep me company. The added shows are great. Love to you, Mel and Logan. Jenny Faye, thank you so much. I hope you're doing well. I really, really appreciate you guys. I'm looking forward to seeing you guys in the Zooms. And again, if you haven't signed up at patreon.com/Boston Brian, please check it out for as little as $5. You can join that. And again, we do monthly Zooms for, anybody that wants to be on camera or doesn't even want to be on camera, but just wants to, be in the conversation, shooting the shit. And we talk about whatever you guys want, whether it be politics or your pets, your family, the weather, whatever it may be. I just it's a more intimate one-to-one, so you guys can get to know me a little better, and I can get to know, the faces behind the screen names a little bit better. So please make sure you check out patreon.com/Boston Brian. Again, the membership's below me. I think it's a join button or something like that. You can join for $2.99 a month. I think it's the best $3 you'll spend. I really, really do. And again, yeah, thank you so much for all your contributions. You are all really, really beautiful souls, and I thank you for helping lift the tide under my boat, so to speak. So thank you guys. I appreciate it. I'm going to see if this works. Hopefully it does. Mel spent a lot of time working on this, so I believe it should work. And like I said, we did upgrade the internet as much as we possibly could. So hopefully this show went all right. It looked all right, sounded all right. Again, the next thing is trying to connect by Ethernet, but again, we're just waiting on a long cord. So hopefully that will improve service in the show even further. But yeah, thank you to all you guys who contributed. Thank you to you guys who liked, shared, subscribed, put the show on Blue Sky. Thank you to Yakov, who's always sharing it on Blue Sky. Thank you to Slacks, who's always sharing it on Blue Sky. Thank you to the mods. Thank you, Tiff. Thank you, Mark, if you're in here. Thank you to Rox. Thank you, Roxanne. Thank you to the other Mark. Thank you, OG Adam. Hey, Dad, what's up, buddy? What's going on, my friend? No, sorry to out you on that one, but I think it's time. Thank you to Jen, all the mods. You guys are fantastic and make this possible, because without you guys, to make sure the chat stays safe, but also that everybody gets to share their opinions, this wouldn't be possible. It just, they'd shut this shit down fast. So thank you so much. Do I have to change that? I'll say underneath me. How about that, Francesca? I'll just continue to say, I'll say underneath me. So there's a button underneath me. It should say join. You can join our beautiful community of lobsters, Bryantologists here in the Church of Bryantology. Again, let me see if I got this. Yes. Before on the way out, I can give you guys at least this.
I mean, they've been conserved since the time of lobsters, right? There weren't trees around when lobsters first manifested themselves on the planet.
There weren't. That's how fantastic and long-lasting you guys are. The lobster community has been here since before trees. All right, I'll let you guys go. I appreciate you. I'm Boston Brian. This is Blunt Politics. I will see you guys tomorrow night, 8:30 Eastern, 5:30 Pacific. Again, I'm going to try to maybe make that the Wednesday night show, our night show. All right, Mel, I'll see you in a little bit. I'm going to try to make the Wednesday night show maybe more laid back, maybe more like a pop culture. We'll take a look at some of the shit maybe happening between, some commentators on YouTube, something, along those lines. If that's okay with you, now that we're adding shows, maybe we can get like a different theme going on some of the shows. So yeah, I appreciate you. I'm out of here. I will see you. Time for lunch, time to see Mel, and time for you guys to go enjoy the rest of your day. And hopefully, again, I like to say, hopefully cooler heads prevail. But there are no cool heads in the situation to help prevail. So it is on you. Get out of your seats, get out of your sheets, get into the streets, stay loud, stay proud, keep your head on a swivel, make sure you're staying safe. Fuck ICE, abolish ICE. I'm Boston Brian. I'm out of here. I'll see you later. I really do appreciate you guys. I'm going to get on my camel and head out.
Appreciate those camels. I haven't seen camels like that in a long time.
All right, I'm out of here. I appreciate you guys. Take it easy.
We've endorsed JP, right? J.D. Mandel, and he's doing great. You'll have a group of Venezuelan killers, street gangs, occupying the town with MK-47s. I know that gun very well. I got to know that.
I'm standing up here bashing the living shit out of Nazis. I'm standing up here bashing the living shit out of Nazis.
Fucking Nazis. Fucking Nazis.
It feels so lovely to be here tonight. What a beautiful life. Give yourself some applause. It's so lovely. Everyone's so lovely. Where you going? Nowhere.
Always calling me Little Marco. And I'll admit, the guy, he's taller than me. He's like 6'2", which is why I don't understand why his hands are the size of someone who's 5'2".
For the rest of my life, I have the curse that I have little hands. Refer to my hands. If they're small, something else must be small. What in the hell was that all about?
Hey, you got a little chubby going there.
Yes, of course, hence the name. Movement, it moves a certain distance, then it stops, you see. Revolution gets its name by always coming back around in your face. You tried to kill me, you son of a bitch. So welcome to the revolution.
Eating the dogs, the people that came in, they're eating the cats, they're eating the pets of the people that live there. Never fight uphill, me boys, never fight uphill. They were fighting uphill. He said, wow, that was a big mistake. He lost his great general, and they were fighting. Never fight uphill, me boys, but it was too late. Venezuela, did you just see Maduro? Venezuela, vagina. Yesterday's a hard word for me. Obama. No, get those lights off! Off! Turn them off. They're too bright. Turn them off.
I'm just an average guy who read public documents where the elite said they were going to enslave us and destroy America. And I'm not going to be like yuppies coming to deny the threat to my country. I'm going to fight back.
White people are a mortal danger to you and your loved ones. Is there anything worse than white people?
Man, I ain't falling for no banana in my tan pack.
My superpower is being honest. I will eat my neighbors. Cacophony. crescendo, a knowledge, a coup de grace.
How do you lie to the FBI and now you're running for president? Seriously, how do you lie to the FBI and now you're running for president?
I am the chosen one.
Go fuck yourself.
I am the chosen one.
Go fuck yourself.
Tell the director to call the White House. Do your fucking job. Get off my plane.
The big, fat, sloppy United States.